Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. I think most of you know that I'm teaching you right now from our backyard. To my right, there's a path that goes from the driveway to the backyard. And when we moved into this home, there was a lot of grass. Now it's just dirt. A few days ago, Vyasa was digging up this area and he's digging this hole, and he noticed that the soil was turning from light to darker. And he told me he thinks that we're reaching the mantle, the Earth's mantle, which is why the soil is becoming redder. And he put his hand down there and said, "It's hot." And as he was sharing this, I was encouraging this: dig deeper, dig to the other side, burn all of your energy. Comparatively, your trust triangle, my trust triangle, does not allow us to have a shallow vision or lifestyle. A parent encouraging a child who's 5 years old in this shallow way, that's natural. He's a child. But a trust triangle knows your potential. Your potential is not to be childish. Encourages you to have a deep vision, a deep lifestyle. And if you're appreciating this relationship, you will need less compassion and you will strive to be challenged more. I feel that whenever we're thinking of the trust triangle, we're always wanting compassion. But do you want to be challenged more? And if you do, then your relationship with the trust triangle has become more real, more oriented towards higher evolution. Yesterday, we celebrated Divine Mother Day. And I encouraged all of you to think of the Bhagavad Gita as your Amba. Your Divine Mother, who was always there for you, will always be there for you. I'm going to read to you the quote that was posted on social media yesterday from Sophia Loren. I don't know how to pronounce her name. The quote's important, okay? Here it is. When you are a mother, you are never really alone in your thoughts. A mother always has to think twice, once for herself and once for her child. Relative mothers are like that. An absolute mother never has to think for herself. She only thinks of her children. And so now I'm challenging you. Are you relating this back to her? Are you still thinking about yourself? If she's only thinking about you, you should only be thinking about her. That's what Divine Mother Day is. That's what the Bhagavad Gita is facilitating for us. In the 19th verse, Shri Krishna shares Prakriti and Purusha, neither of them has a beginning. Now, let me explain this. This is more technical, requires more reflection. Another word for Purusha is Brahman. Brahman means infinity. So logically, infinity has no beginning. If it did, it would not be infinite. And logically, infinity has no end. If it did, it would not be infinite. Does anyone here disagree by a show of hands? Some of you are disagreeing that infinity doesn't have a beginning or doesn't have an end. Stop eating breakfast. Listen to what I'm saying. Now, as for Prakriti, another word for Prakriti is matter, as I've been describing, but also Maya. Maya also has no beginning. Why? Scientifically, if you think of what time is the measurement of change. Agreed? Time is the measurement of change. There has to be matter to change. If there's no matter, then there can't be change. So when matter changes, that's where time becomes relevant. So when the teaching is that Maya has no beginning, the point is matter is there, then time becomes relevant. But a distinction or the differentiation between Maya and Brahman, or Prakriti and Purusha, is that Maya does have an end. You can interpret this very literally. That which changes has an end, like this body. Or you can interpret this more metaphysically. If Maya is forgetfulness, it ends through remembrance, through vidya. So Shri Krishna is sharing that Prakriti and Purusha are beginningless, but Prakriti is not endless. Purusha is endless. More thoughts of this is coming throughout the rest of the chapter. In the second line of verse 19, Shri Krishna is sharing how Prakriti is of the nature of change. Now here's a further reflection for you. Kriti means fundamental creation. Fundamental. In Bhagavata, this is called sarga. It is when Bhagavan Narayana created the elements, and that's it. Just the elements. Prakriti is functional creation, where these elements are then put into different combinations and permutations so that there's ego, equipment, experiences. That's where Bhagavan Brahma, who's not really the creator, but more of the manager of creation. In Bhagavata, this is the fourth skanda, or Visarga. So whenever you come across the word Prakriti, understand there's a fundamental creation, that is the elements, and then there's the functional creation, which is combinations and permutations. The importance of such a detail is that it doesn't matter how beautiful, how valuable this and that is. Finally, these are just elements. Elements outside, elements inside. We continue. Verse 20. Karya karana kartritve hetuf prakritiruchyate purusha sukha duktyanam bhoktritve heturuchyate. Joy. Karya, effect. Karana, cause. Kartritve, their relationship. The cause manifesting as the effect. What triggers this? The hetuhu, or reason, prakriti uchyate, is known as prakriti. This is the translation of the first line. What is the implication? Change causes change. Prakriti is of the nature of change and so causes more change. Elements are of the nature of change, so they cause more change. The ego, equipments, experiences. A further implication of this is change is not a problem when you depend on that which is changing. That is where you are creating your own problems. Change is fine. Even if you feel it's not fine, try to escape from change. You'll exhaust yourself, you'll burn out and die. But when you appreciate that change causes change, then you treat change in a relative way. You have an interdependence on that which changes, not a dependence. I'd encouraged all of you to think about that which changes, to not give it more value than it deserves. It has value, but not more than what it deserves. Second line is more complex. Purushaha, that is spirit, sukha dukkhanam, the pair of pleasure and pain, and all sorts of pairs. Bhoktritve, the experience of this, hetuhu, is the cause, is the reason, uchyate, is said, is taught. Prakriti causes change. Purusha causes the experience of change. This is the translation. Here are some reflections. Matter is unaware. The shirt you're wearing right now doesn't know what your shoulder is, doesn't know what you are. In most maps, this is described as being inert, doesn't have knowledge. Yet, you know your shoulder, your shirt. You know pleasure and pain. And that's why Prakriti is the experienced and spirit is the experiencer. They are different, so differentiate. But now I have to tell you one more facet about this verse, because right now, if you just take this verse and don't go forward in this chapter, your understanding of Purusha will be incorrect. We are a community that is immersed in Advaita. Another word for Advaita is Sanatana or infinity. Advaita, Sanatana, infinity, there is no other. There is no other. So one implication of this, even to state There's the experienced, and the experiencer means there's two. There's the other. And so here, the Purusha that's described is not the Advaita Purusha, the infinite spirit. That is not stated here. More verses will make this more clear. And in a most practical sense, if you really agree with me that you are in a community focused on Advaita, Sanatana Dharma, infinity, then you don't practice othering. That person's of that country, that person's of that skin color, that person's of that age. You don't live in an exclusive way, you live in an inclusive way. From inspiration to application. Your application was to go back to the first dhyana shloka on the Bhagavad Gita. How many of you went back to this? Thought about it, chanted it? In Srimad Bhagavatam, all that is around Sri Krishna, like his conch and his discus and so on, they manifest as personalities. Imagine Sri Krishna's conch looks like this as a human. Discus looks like this as a human. And when Sri Krishna contemplated upon himself and became unmanifest, so did all of those personalities. They became unmanifest too. And so the point I'm trying to make is Bhagavad Gita is Sri Krishna. Yes, this belongs to him. That's what the word Bhagavat means. But start to feel this is him. Your application for this morning, I want you to rate yourself. 1 is awful, 100 is awesome. How are you doing with making others fearless? Last week, I shared a lot about the responsibility of making others fearless. How are you doing with this? The people around you, are they becoming more courageous? Or are they anxious around you? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.